All right, here we go. So, what I want to take you through today is a quick breakdown and look at how we utilize Trainerize to put together a basic training program. So, over here on this screen, let me take you back to the beginning here. Over on this screen on the left-hand side, the first thing we do when we need to identify clients in which we're going to write the program for, one way you can do it, and you can do this a few ways, is to just simply go to the Client tab. Once we're there, you'll notice I've put together a example client here or a demo client, and they've called him Timmy Explorer. So we're going to jump in on Timmy's program and have a look. Jump up here. We're going to go straight to training program. You could go to the dash. Again, there's multiple ways you can get to their program. It will open a new tab for Timmy. Now, in this case here, you'll notice here on the left-hand side, I'll just move my head, here on the left-hand side, you've got the program. Now, on the left, I like to think of this here as almost like the 4-week blocks or the programs within a mesocycle. So you could build multiple programs on top of each other. Today, we're just going to simply look at starting a new one after his first 8 weeks. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to keep it very basic here to give you a rough understanding and keep this video short enough for you to get in and start playing. First things first, we would look to click Add New. This is going to give us the option to put a new training phase in place. We're going to simply call this one, you could really call it, it's going to be goal and client dependent, but in this case, we're going to call it Phase 3. There we go. I've obviously done that before. Then you said how long you want to go for. In this case, we're going to say 4 weeks. Like most programs will likely be around 4 weeks, and it prompts us as to when it's going to end. You also have the option to have it end in months or on a specific date. Okay, that brings up a new program. First thing I like to do here is always make sure, not necessarily first, but at one point you want to make sure you put the summary in place. And we're going to do that last actually today, because we'll go through writing the program and then I'll explain how to do the summary. But you could really do it at any point here. Let's add a date in here. So obviously I'm skipping a lot of details here, but I'm just trying to show you a nice, quick and efficient way how we can put a program together. So we're going to call this day 1. Keep it really simple. Actually, I did miss a point that I'm just going to go back here and show you once more. Now on this option, I get options of 3 types of workouts. You have the option for a regular workout, okay, which is like your usual sets and reps and so on. We've got the option of a circuit workout, which is really just a very similar way in which we do a regular workout, but the exercises circuited together, nice and quick to input as well. And finally, a really cool option here is a interval workout. Now with this interval workout, we're not going to do this today, but the interval workout, what it does is it gives you an inbuilt interval timer. So if you had a client doing some form of metabolic conditioning session, perhaps straight up intervals for cardio, a really cool feature of Trainerize is we can put in intervals and actually time and put together what we want them to do. And it actually speaks to them in headphones if they've got it, or through their phone if they're using it that way, that tells them, you know, you're halfway and so on. So the interval timer is great. Today, we're just going to look at a regular workout though. So as I said here, we're just going to call this one day 1. Fantastic. The first thing I like to do is put some form of instructions in. Now, I'd highly recommend having some form of a generic warm-up template because a lot of times they are similar. You do have the option to put in workout summaries, general cues, information around the workout. I'm going to give you an idea of what I like to do here. It's one of my general conditioning warm-ups. I'm actually copy and pasting that one over. So I've got my warm-up instructions. First things first, I want them to do any specific foam roll or mobility work. That's sometimes just a cue for me to write in what I'd like them to do or prompt them to look at a separate program that I might have scheduled for warm-up. And then their warm-up sets gives them some instructions. Any notes that I wanted to write here, for example, I might say, please refer to your scheduled mobility warm-up prior to starting this session. For example, conditioning notes, if there was a conditioning component to this workout, I might say something there's not going to be, but just theoretically, let's say I said, take a 3 to 5 minute rest after weight training and before conditioning, okay? Whatever. Honestly, you could write, I sometimes will do instructions around their loading. If I want them to do a specific form of loading, whatever it is, you write it. If it's specific to the workout, it goes in here. I definitely think you need to put some form of instructions in though. From here, we then start writing the program. This is making no sense. I'm making this one up as I go. So please don't judge my programming here. Let's say we're doing a very classic full body workout. So we're going to start with what we're looking for is a dumbbell, goblet, squat. Oh, that's not how you spell squat, is it? Excellent. Okay, fantastic. So in this place here, I'll get a ton of options. What we always ask is that if there is a PPT video, and you'll see this as you progress, available for a specific movement, we ask that you use that one. So I'm going to scroll. There we go. There's a PBT goblet squat. You'll recognize these. One way around this to find our videos that are ours and not the Trainerize is to simply select custom exercises, hit apply, and it should pop up a bit easier. It's going to prove me wrong. Where is my goblet squat? Here's a little dumbbell squat. I'm probably missing it, and you're probably screaming at me. There it is. So from here we click and we slide. That's simply how we add your movements. From there, I'm just going to do this really quickly. Now at this point now, let's say I added an exercise. I don't like where it's placed and I need to move it. That's what these little 3 dots here for. I can click that one, move it up earlier in the workout, later in the workout, pair things together, whatever I'd like to do. So let's just start with those 4 movements. So we've got a squat, we've got a deadlift, we've got a dumbbell press and a single arm dumbbell row. We're going to start there. Obviously, you know, specific to the client, this could change a bunch. The next thing I just want to really, really quickly show you is the option when searching for movements to refine. I've shown you how we can select the custom exercises. You can take this further and look if you need a bit of inspiration. You need to think of what was that exercise called. You can select the muscle you're after. Say, I want a bicep exercise that's custom. I'll collapse that. Using the client I'm training only has a barbell. So we're going to collapse down. You can go down to movement, vertical push, pull, hinge, whatever, mechanics. All of that can be there. From there, we select apply, and then that's weird because obviously we wouldn't select the kettlebell deadlift suitable for biceps. It gives us one option, but you know, you get the point. Let's make that a little bit more applicable to what we're after here. Banded bicep curl, low cable bicep curl, and so on. Anyway, you can refine your search. It's not perfect, but it does help if you are looking for something. Let's get back to the workout. At this point here, we have the option to now set our exercise variables, sets, targets, which can be reps, weights, tempos, reps in reserve instructions and intensity, whatever it needs to be for you, custom instructions, whatever. So let's just start with sets. You simply are an up or down button. So in this case, let's say we're doing a classic 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. We're going to do it at a controlled tempo of 3, 1, 1, 1, for example, if we're listing a tempo number. And if we wanted to go deep on this, we would say we're going to do this with 2 RIR. Let me be really clear in saying that I'm not telling you that you need to do all of those variables. I'm just showing that you do have options to write there. After that, you can then set your rest interval, which is another drop-down menu, and you can select, we're going to give this person 60 seconds, for example. Let's say we wanted to do the exact same thing on our deadlift. I'm just copying and pasting that for time's sake. And then finally, we're now going to move to our dumbbell presses. Again, let's keep it simple. We're just going to copy and paste. Now, let's say, for example, within this workout, I chose the option of supersetting my last 2 movements. I wanted to superset my dumbbell press and my single arm dumbbell row to save time. In this case, down the side here, I select these 2 boxes and I have the options to superset or circuit. A superset, very simply, is exactly as you would probably think it is. It's one exercise with no rest as we then move into the other. So if I hit superset, you notice immediately it groups the 2 exercises, and that's how it would display in the client's program. It removes the rest option from exercise 1 and only allows me, you can still select, but it automatically does that. If you made a mistake, you don't want to do that, you simply hit ungroup. Now, for the sake of terminology, if you were doing, say, an alternating recovery set where it's a pairing with a short break in between the first and second exercise, you could hit circuit here. It still does the same thing, but on the client's program, it says circuit, not superset. Probably splitting hairs here, but you know, you've got both options. Let's ungroup that one more time. What happens if you want to group 3, 4, 5, 6 movements? It's very easy. In this case, we just select them all. We hit circuit or we hit superset, depending on what you need to do. Superset's good if you were, say, giant setting where you did want people to move through quickly. Circuit, it just sort of automatically maintains the rest interval, whereas if I selected superset here, you'll notice it drops all rest intervals bar 1. If I wanted to increase set, it's very easy. I up the sets there and so on. That is how we write a program. Obviously, it's very generic, unspecific, and not really for anyone in particular. But just remember, I went through, I wrote my instructions with warm-up. I dropped and dragged my exercises over to here. I set my variables being sets, target reps. We went through circuits and supersets and rest intervals, and that's all listed there. And I think that's everything I wanted to do. Now, that's how we write a program. Now, how do we give instructions around this program and have a client ready to go? Let me just really quickly just show you how to do the workout summary. So again, I've got a bit of a copy and paste job over here, more of a prompt than anything, but you'll see what I'm doing. the moment I hit go. Okay. So we encourage everybody when writing a program to do a summary at the start of most phases here, particularly if you're working with online clients, but really anyone, so it gives them an idea. We're going to basically fill in the blanks here. Let's say, again, this is non-specific. All right, so that's that there. So next thing we're going to do is go through your actually how to schedule your workouts. So here, let me just hit pause for a second. I can't do that, sorry.
Sorry, Tino's here.
Good.
Is he booked?
Yes.
Oh, no, because
All right, moving on. So from here, we're going to move to how to schedule your workout. I'll hit save on that. That's all good to go. All right, where are we? All right, down here, you've got a couple of ways you can schedule programs. First and foremost, it's literally nice and simply here with this scheduling button. So if I click that one, it's going to bring up the calendar and all the dates that apply to the next phase of training. You've got the options to repeat. This makes things really quickly, or setting individual days. As you can see here above, this client, we've said it's 2 days of strength training done with me. So you probably know when they're going to train. In the event you don't know when they're going to train, you don't have to schedule, but I would highly recommend it from a client compliance standpoint. I think it's something that we should all look to be doing to explain to them not only the expectations verbally, but visibly in our app. So let's say here, I know this person trains on a Tuesday and a Thursday. Notice because I selected 4 weeks, it's just dropped it down. If things change, you can literally just put a workout there, and so on. So that's the second one. So that's now been scheduled for 8. Like, I'm not going to do that usually, but it gives you a bit of an idea. The other way you can schedule things, I'll leave that, that's fine, is we go to the client calendar. By selecting client calendar right over here on the left-hand side, I'm going to get rid of this again. Okay, where's our next program? Boom. So this is, ignore the habits for me, please. This is just a demo client, so something they've put in, and we'll go through that another time. You notice here we've got day one and day one. It would usually be another day, but whatever. The other way you can schedule programs is we literally hit a day. It gives us the option to select straight from their program. You can, again, repeat this, weekly, however many days. Say I want to do this on a Friday and a Monday as well. I'm going to do that for 4 weeks. You notice, boom, I hit add, and bang, they're on the program. So it starts the day I selected, just not on the first day because we started here on the 12th, and then it rolls through. So that there is how you can schedule from the calendar. Now, another thing you can look to do is schedule cardio. So if you have non-specific cardio that you'd like them to do, so say, for example, part of your program is I want you to do a 30-minute walk 3 times per week, and we're going to do that on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You don't have to necessarily create a program for this. Yeah, you can if you want, but it's probably going to do a very similar thing the way I'm going to show you here and now. So let's say cardio, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 30-minute walk. Here, you'll notice when we go to add, we've got cardio activity. We can then select from a number of different exercises. You can pick anything from a specific fitness class through to running, walking, so on. As I said, we're going to select walking, and then we're going to add some data here. Your targets, you can do everything from nothing, just walking, right? Which is pretty rubbish, but it's one way you could do it. A distance, if they wanted to walk 5K, a time, or you can add your own targets. So with the time perspective, you could just give a really specific, 30-minute walk time, like this. Or add your own target and say, what could we give here? We want you to do 30 minutes walking at brisk pace, maintain around, let's call it 60 to 65% max heart rate, or you could do, a 6 out of 10 intensity, whatever you want to do. You give your instructions there. So we hit apply. That's add that workout for me. And once again, we said we were going to do this on a Monday. We're going to do this on a Wednesday. We're going to do this on a Friday. We're going to do this for 4 weeks. Boom. There's our program. Walking, walking, walking. The really cool thing, which I can't show you from here, is that when a client now jumps in an app, because we've scheduled the calendar, every single day, it will prompt them on their phone to complete this activity. You'll notice here there's some habits as well. We'll do the same, but these weren't habits we set, so please ignore those. So it comes up on their things to do today's schedule. So hence why scheduling is a really key habit for us to do for both our clients and ourselves. It manages expectations. And as you can see there, it took 2 seconds. That is how we put together a program from scratch and schedule it into a calendar. There's one more thing I'm going to show you here before we end this video, and then you're probably good to start having a play. We're going to go back to training program. So along the way, you might find yourself creating program templates. Now, the templates don't necessarily mean this is me giving every client the same program. It definitely does not mean that. But there might be times when on a specific day, I'm going to show you two types of templates here. You can pull a workout or a full program, and then you go in and adapt the program. Let's start with adding a templated workout. So we'll go back to our phase 3 program for Timmy here. Now, a really easy way is you've got the option to, instead of selecting new where we put that program in, we hit import. You've got the options from master workouts, master programs, or another client's program. You can actually jump in there if you know you've got a great mobility program for the ankles that you wrote for another program, and this person's got a similar time and whatever, you can pull it over and make an adjustment. Let's say you've got workouts. Now, a master workout is a singular workout. Makes sense. A master program is a block of training, generally 4 weeks or more, where you could select a number of We're going to go through it in a minute. For now, we're looking at master workouts. I'm going to look at my personal workouts because I do have a few saved, but you have the option shared, and you even have the option to look what other trainers are doing so we can collaborate and work together. So we've got our personal workouts here. Now, I might choose to look at a tag that I've set. I'm going to look for mobility here. You can search if you have a number of personal workouts. I don't have a great deal, but there's some. Mobility, great. I just mentioned ankle mobility. Let's run with that. We know that Timmy's got an ankle issue. So we hit boom, we import that, and that's going to pull that over into Timmy's program. Because he's got an ankle issue, we want him to stretch frequently, and we want him, I think we said mobility daily. We definitely did. So we're going to say 4 weeks, and this guy is going to get instructions to complete that mobility every day. I'm not saying you have to do that. That's just, so you can see. So that's how we import template workouts. What happens if you have entire blocks of training that you want to use as the bones for an adjustment or a client's program? Here's what we can do. So down here on the left-hand side, when we look at the next phase of program, rather than add new, I'm going to look at, again, import from. So we drop to master programs, and I'm going to look at personal programs. And I do have a few of these. So up the top, the first thing to do is select the personal master program. This is the same if it was a shared program, and we look for something. So let's say I'm going to get Timmy, what am I going to do? He's, whatever, we're going to run with this one. He wants fitness. He's intermediate trainee, and you notice here I've got a bunch of programs already. I'm going to start in at the top because that's how it is. So we're just going to select the program, but you can select a stack of programs. Please keep in mind that there is still individualization that has to take place. You can't just be giving everybody the same program. This is just a time saver, and if you go about the right way, it's a very efficient way to train our clients. But anyway, we're just going to look at one. You then select what you want, when you would like it to start. In this case, we're just going to go boom after the next program, or you could pick a specific date. I go import, and there it is. So if we look at Timmy now, notice that this was the phase we just did. Here is his next one. We've now got the summary, and I usually start here. If we look at that, the date's wrong already, so we just hit the edit button. It's 2021. It gives him a bit of an instruction about what the program's about and goes through, what we've got listed there in terms of the expectations of managing the program. The next thing, it's only really the bones at this point. I don't have any specific fitness program, so we would look to do that, but just so you can see what I'm doing here, let's say I went into Timmy's program and it was not necessarily right for him. There's a couple of changes I need to make. From here, you can now edit your template. You go to the workout builder, not the progression spreadsheet, which is an option, but it's not what we're talking about here, and we have a look. We've got our instructions all listed. There's some instructions about loading. There's a lot there. Now, when we look at Timmy's program here and where he's at, let's just say, for example, we've decided that he's not quite ready for bent over rows because he's got a bit of a back injury. So we need to substitute that with a single arm dumbbell row. Literally look up the exercise. We find the one we want, drag it over into the place we want it. I usually will copy and paste the variables. If they're appropriate, change the variables if you need to. We remove the old one by clicking this button and then putting it in the bin, and it's done. We've got Timmy's program. You might need to change more, whatever you're going to do, it's okay. But that there is the workout. Now, if we look here, I've got a bunch of instructions. There's all sort of stuff there. Whack save. And now we've used the template. We've created another 4 weeks of training. You'd still have to look at cardio and mobility and scheduling sessions, but the bones are there. It's done. You've just saved yourself a bunch of time. As I said, I'm not telling you must use templated. I'm actually saying only do it if it's applicable. You've got both options here in front of you now. Now have a play. If you've got any questions, reach out to your head coach. Hopefully this video is helpful. You might want to save it and you can use it in the future. All right, enjoy.